What's going on, everybody? Chris C, the Slasher Dude, back with another video. If you could, sleeping bag the subscribe / the like. I'm here on YouTube. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. That is now called X. I am also, I said letterbox under Chris C as well. And yeah, if you like slashers, if you like giallo, if you like horror, anime, all that good geeky horror stuff, I'm the Slasher Dude for you. Thanks everybody again for the support. I will link Anthony's channel, Anthony's Horror and More, down in the info bar. Just go to that channel and click on that link, his video for Horror YouTuber of the Month for March. I'm part of that. Dirk is part of that Subjective Perspective Collective. My man Norm Rad is part of that. And also my man Chuck at Gore Forever is part of that too. It's just great to just open the doors to this great community, to these great little creators out there and stuff like that. And just they just do great stuff. Check all those awesome people out. So this is Tim Talks Talkies, aka my boy Tim. He's doing his films of the 70s, favorite films of the 1970s. I was born in 1979. And yeah, thought I'd throw my Slasher Dude hat into the mix here a little bit. Going to be a little bit different here. Mostly all of these are horror right here, and some honorable mentions. So let's go ahead and start here with honorable mentions. I got kind of a few of them here. The first one, I do have it. Kino Lorber released it on 4K. Death Wish with my boy Charles Bronson. That's a great thriller. It's a great vigilante film. It started the craze. If we did not get Death Wish, we would not have, let's see, this character right here, the Punisher, you know, by the great Stan Lee. Yeah, great gritty film. It represented the time, and yeah, it's an all-time great vigilante revenge film. So that's a first honorable mention. Second honorable mention is, of course, Brian De Palma's Carrie, based off the Stephen King novel. Of course, Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, John Travolta, just all really good cast and stuff like that, and a trip of a film. And that's the only Stephen King novel I've read. And so, yeah, that's Carrie. That's first honorable mention. Second honorable mention. Third and last one is Jaws 2, 1979. 45 years. I'm 44 and my birthday's coming up, April 16th. This was the first Jaws film I've ever seen when I was a kid and stuff like that too. It's more of like a slasher, a creature feature type of a thing, just like the original one was. Yeah, it's an all-time great time. They couldn't get all the original cast back, only the late great Roy Schreider and Lorraine Gray, I believe that's who is playing his wife and stuff like that too. And then there's the typical characters in this too. But yeah, this was a good, very cool release. But yeah, that's Jaws 2. Well, that's the honorable mention. All right, there, everybody. Let's start with number 10, the Amityville Horror. Yeah, this is kind of an all-timer. First haunted house. Not the first, but kind of the outlier to a lot of stuff to come here. James Brolin, Margot Kidder, and Rod Steiger, this dude here, Priest and stuff like that. It's based off a true story, based off the book. Yeah, if you don't know, now you know. This was a great release by Vinegar Syndrome. But yeah, Amityville Horror is number 10. Number 9, first time watch a while back on Gorefode, my man's Keith stream. Check that dude out. He does great watch-alongs and all that other stuff. He's coming back, baby, so look out for him there. And yeah, that's George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. A lot of people call this, my man Dirk calls it Yawn of the Dead. I kind of get it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a zombie film. Of course, Dawn of the Dead is his basic, or not Dawn of the Dead, but Night of the Living Dead, of course, is his masterpiece of a zombie film. But yeah, Dawn of the Dead is still a great film for what it is. There's multiple cuts on this one. Just check it out if you have never seen it before and stuff like that. I'd be interested to see a black and white version of this. But yeah, that's George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Be number 9. And let's see here. Kind of have stuff out of order. Flip those around. Don Coscarelli's Phantasm. Yeah. I just recently bought the whole collection there and stuff like that too. Trippy film. Angus Grimm. The Tall Man. You have to see this film to believe it. I believe it's ahead of its time in horror, in my opinion. Very cool, trippy 70s horror. Highly recommend it, this Phantasm. Number 7. Yeah, the masterpiece, that's Black Christmas. It's a slasher. Without this, we would not get stuff like Friday the 13th. We would not get stuff like Halloween. First-person view of the killer. It's very good. Bob Clark. What else can you say? Margot Kidder is in this one as well. Olivia Hussey, I believe. This one right here. But yeah, all-time great, great Christmas horror. Slasher, of course. The slasher dude loves it. But that's Black Christmas. Number 6, I believe. Sorry, Dirk. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, Tobe Hooper's masterpiece of a slasher. It's Grindhouse. It's very Grindhouse and stuff like that. This is the Dark Sky release. You cannot see it behind me right there. That's the second sight release. Yeah, what else hasn't been said by the great Tobe Hooper? Does great horror. You can't go wrong with this one. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's a damn nice slip for that. Awesome. Awesome film. Love it to death. The slasher dude approves. Alright, we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist, directed by the late, great William Friedkin. This is an all-time horror for me. One of these days I'll do a video ranking my top 10 all-time horror films. I mean, most of these are horror here anyway, but anyway... It's a masterpiece. Academy Awards, all this stuff too. This kind of set the bar a little bit for what horror is and stuff like that. It's probably the greatest possession film ever made. Yeah, everything's been said about this film. That's The Exorcist. Right down to the last 4 here. My number 4. Sorry, Alan, aka Pop's Movie Dungeon, but that's Jaws. Jaws is an all-timer. Top 10, possibly top 5 all-time films, favorite films of all time to me. This is highly rewatchable, of course. If you thought it was safe to go back in the water, Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Spielberg's kind of big break here. My awesome mom, thought he should have gotten Best Director for this film. This is highly rewatchable to this day. This film is ahead of its time. What else can be said about this? The opening scene with the women here and stuff like that is still terrifying. It's one of the most terrifying scenes in history in film, in my opinion. But yeah, that's Steven Spielberg's Jaws. Number 3, John Carpenter's Halloween. I'm more of a fan of Halloween 2, but this one's right up there as one of the greatest slashers ever made. This started the slasher craze. The night he came home, of course, it's Halloween. Michael Myers breaks out of the mental institution that he is in. The late, great, very great Donald Pleasence, Dr. Loomis, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter at his peak here. This is it. This is his masterpiece of a slasher film. That is John Carpenter's Halloween. Number 2 is Dario Argento's Suspiria. To me, the greatest Italian horror film ever made. This is highly rewatchable. The opening scene to the ending scene, the soundtrack by Goblin. You can't go wrong with this. This one's highly rewatchable. Stylized horror at its peak. Lucio Fulci is my all-time favorite Italian director, but Dario Argento could be 1B in that case. That is Suspiria. This is an awesome release by Synapse Films. And number 1, my all-time favorite director, Ridley Scott's masterpiece of horror, and that is Alien. In space, nobody can hear you scream. An all-star cast in here. Just a space horror. It's an all-time great film. The great Ridley Scott. It's a travesty. He does not have an Academy Award for Best Director, but a lot has been said about this film as well. There's not enough to kind of say about that. An awesome steelbook. I actually got this now dead Best Buy. Rest in peace. Anyway, my number 1 is Alien. So there you go. My top 10 horror films and films of the 70s. But basically top 10 horror films of the 70s. I'm Chris C, the Slasher Dude. I will leave Tim Talks Talkies link in the info bar for his challenge there, but I just do this for fun to a little slasher horror spin on this whole thing. Anyway, I'm Chris C, the Slasher Dude. You all have a great day. I will see you all next time.